Awesome, awesome. Welcome back. And today we're talking about the founder's trap. What happens in your business when you are the bottleneck? Right up my alley. Uh, so we're going to talk to you about how to get out of that trap. And but before we get started, remember to subscribe to this channel and put your comments in the comments below, and also to share this out to other business owners you think can benefit from these messages. All right, Nate, take it away.
Hey, all right. Thank you. Yeah. So, talking about the real reason why your business feels stuck. It's not the marketing or it's not the market. It's not your team or the competition. It's because you're still the engine trying to run everything. Um, all right. So, generally speaking, and you can, correct me in the comments or, point me into other facts that counterfact my fact. But founders who don't delegate hit a wall around 1.5 million to 3 million in revenue. I think Hormozy has said that this is the worst revenue range for a business because it's that that point where you've accumulated a head of steam. You've come a long way. You've done a lot
Mhm.
of work. You've achieved a certain level of success, but then all of a sudden you hit a wall. You hit this brick wall, and everything seems to just kind of fall apart. And it's very easy at this point for people to kind of quit and give up and say, I don't understand what's going on. I just get very frustrated. But the good thing about it is that there is a light at the end of the tunnel here. We're going to talk a little bit about the difference between a growing business, excuse me, growing a business and building a company. All right, so first off here, understanding what we mean by founder dependency. That sounds like a very technical, clinical term, I think. But so essentially, it just means that the owner of the business is the bottleneck. They're the one who is doing all the things. They're hiring. They are the one who finalizes sales potentially. They're doing the marketing perhaps, or attempting to. They are also involved with the delivery of the product or service to the client, and they are also attempting to make all the decisions. Needless to say, this is, I think, what Harmozy was talking about, where, a lot of business owners at this point, and I've actually have spoken with business owners who are at this point. One business owner said to me, "I don't know whether I want to grow this business or drive the whole thing into the side of a mountain." It's like, those are the
Oh my
choices, I
goodness.
guess.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how she put it.
It's gonna be
And
quite a lonely road, huh?
I could tell from hearing her talk that she was definitely at the end of her wits end, as you will, because this particular person was not a. She went to school to be an artist, okay, but here she was growing this brand. Granted, she was making a ton of money at it, right? But she just was not. Business was not her thing. Hiring people and firing people, that's not what she wanted to do. She wanted to do her art. And what she found was that she gets into it and she is so wrapped up in doing the business of the thing, and she's just so far away from doing the art that she just loses her passion, right? I think that's where a lot of business owners lose it in this
Yeah, I
case.
think so too. Because
Yeah.
we a lot of us we start businesses because we know how to do something and we know how to do it well. But the problem is running a business takes so much more than doing that thing that you know how to do. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs come across that like pretty quickly, like, oh wait, this is not what I signed up for.
Yep.
all this extra stuff.
So, and speaking of all this extra stuff, let's talk a little bit what we mean by that. So
Mm.
every major decision routes through you. The team can't move forward without your input. You're stuck in both the strategic and tactical roles, and you're constantly being pulled, one way or another. And you feel guilty if you take any time off. I think that's that's a big one too.
It's a
Um,
shame because you
mm,
probably really need the time off.
yes, yeah. Um, okay, and the part of the problem here is too that, and I don't know if this is a symptom of being a business owner, of a successful business, a rising business, or if this is more of a cultural thing in the US. I suspect it's a little bit of both. Read an article recently from the Harvard Business Review that said 98% of all business owners that they interviewed believe that being strategic about their business is absolutely highly important. But I think it was the same number who said that they didn't have time to do it. Okay.
Very
But
important, but I don't have time to do it.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
But
that
here's
sounds
the
about right.
kicker. But here's the kicker about that. The reason that the outcome, the reason that the article said that they were saying this is because that's part of like this cultural thing in America where we have to be busy, right? Being busy is equated with being important, right? And
Mm.
so business owners feel that if they're not being busy, then that means that they're not important. And it's there's a lot of there's ego wrapped up in there.
Mm.
Um,
But a
yeah,
psychological um, self manipulation
yeah,
and
yeah,
lies that you're telling yourself.
yeah. And they
You
feel
know.
like being needed
Hmm.
makes them feel important, right? But it's a
Yeah.
trap. It's a trap. You're not scaling in this case. You're really just surviving. Um, so that's what we're talking about with founder dependency. Okay, why? Excuse me. Why does this happen? Number one, and this is actually something that they talk about in the E Myth. Michael Gerber talks about this. No one can do it like I can. I'm the only one that can do this right, right? Um, but unfortunately, if you don't have a system built, you're actually living in chaos almost by default. This is not really something that you can get out of easily if you don't utilize systems, if you don't have a method for getting out of it, kind of a plan, right? And this next portion here, hiring without clarity ends up creating more work for you and not less. Case in point,
Oh boy, don't I know it?
case
I've
in
seen it.
point.
Mm.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have tasted this at one point or another in one fashion or another. But one case in point is a client of mine who was looking to hire some people so that they could offload some work so that they could be more strategic about the business, hired a project manager without experience in the construction. This is a kitchen bathroom modeler. Okay.
Mm.
And so the project manager did not know anything about the construction business. They worked for a construction supply company at one point, and they were a teacher, and that was the extent of their knowledge. Granted, teachers are great. They're very good at doing projects. Don't get me wrong, but this is a whole another beast. Okay. There's a lot of tiny details in that really experience is required in order for it to run smoothly in this case. And so, um, one clear case of this is that they unfortunately told them to go ahead and put concrete over a bathroom shower floor. And when it came time to do the final inspection and examination, they realized that they forgot a crucial part of the plumbing. So
Oh,
they had to
no.
redo it. They had to redo it at my client's expense, unfortunately. So yeah, it was
Right.
costly,
To break
time
through all that
consuming mistake.
concrete and
Oh,
wow.
bad, very, very bad.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
Very tough lesson learned.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So there's also fear involved here, right? Um, there's fear of delegating, right? If you, as a business owner, are the only one that can do it right, if you give it to somebody else, they're going to mess it up. Okay, and all of your hard work is going to go down the drain. In this case, with my client, literally, this is like wow. But yeah, rough.
So they say
Um,
hire slow, fire fast, right?
yeah.
Don't, yeah. Do your due diligence when you're hiring. But
Yep.
if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're wearing all the hats. It's harder to do that because you don't want to take too much time to hire somebody. There's so much going on.
You don't have the time to take the
You know,
time to
yeah,
hire somebody slow. It's
right.
like,
You don't have the time to do that. You don't have an HR
um,
manager. You are the HR manager.
yeah. So there's a fear of delegating. There's also, of course, going along with that, the fear of loss of quality. Again, if I'm the only one that can do it right, no one else can do it as well as I can. Why would I want to mess around with hiring somebody, right? Um, and then there's also, like we just talked about, the if if the business owner enjoys the feeling of being needed, that's feeding their ego or whatever, like that's really important to them. They like the idea of being important, that kind of thing. Then, to a certain degree, they've wrapped up their identity in that. And so giving that up means potential identity crisis, which is no small thing. I mean,
Oh,
um,
you have to figure out who you are outside of the business. It's like all of a sudden,
yeah,
well, if I hand this off, then what am I going to do? Who am I without it?
yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, there's some real
Hmm.
reasons here about why this happens. Um, and kind of going along with all of this is if you don't have a clear organization chart, you don't have clear roles, you don't have KPIs that you're actually all working towards. Um, it's just like you got a bunch of people in the same building, and they're all doing stuff. But
But they're not all singing from the same songbook, so to speak.
yeah. Right, exactly.
Hmm.
The horses are not all pulling in the right direction, in the same direction.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
okay, so we talked a little bit about understanding what we mean by founder dependency, why it happens. Now, let's look at how we can break this cycle. Um, so basically, what we're talking about here is a mindset shift from being the operator to the architect or the orchestrator of
Mhm.
of the whole operation. And
Right. You don't want to be that pilot that's doing the maintenance on the plane. It's also
yeah,
serving the drinks in the cabin. Right? No, you need to be the pilot.
yeah, you're not Flash. You can't be everywhere all at once that quickly, right?
Right.
Um, that's a best recipe for burnout, right?
Hmm.
You're on a fast track for burnout. I don't care how much energy you have, you know, you're going to
Can't be
use it
doing
up.
all the things.
Yeah.
Can't grow that way.
Um, okay. And the goal here is building a business that can run without you. Even if you stay involved, right? You're definitely involved. Don't get me wrong here. You're still important, but you're just not wrapped up in everything and being pulled in 1,000 different directions all at once. And in order to do that, you have to have some key systems. So number one, Delegation. Part of that is building playbooks, SOPs for your team, so it makes it easier to hand off positions to onboard new hires. You're spending less time explaining the role, you know, hand holding them within the first few, maybe, um, I'll give you an example of this to a certain extent. It's a little bit different because I wasn't the owner of the business, but an employee. My boss told me when I got hired that it would take about 1 or 2 years to learn the role. And so, I mean, that's a long sort of
A long ramp up time.
process.
Yeah.
As it went along, I realized that I had a lot more questions about what I'm supposed to be doing
Mm.
and when and all that kind of stuff that could have easily been solved or answered through a simple like systematic onboarding process that gave me all of the essential tools that I would need to complete my functions.
Right.
But unfortunately, I did not have that.
Mm.
Yeah. So like it's rough. Now there's kind of a debate here, right? There's like the employee's need for autonomy, right? But at the same time, there's the company's need for um, efficiency in getting somebody up to speed. And so some of that can be solved just by having the essentials, right? Where they can do maybe a self-guided educational tour of the things that they would need to complete their job, et cetera, et cetera. Something along those lines. You could have
Yeah.
operational dashboards, scorecards.
That would be so
Um,
helpful considering, he's talking about it takes a year to learn the job. Well, in most positions, you get 90 days for probation.
yeah,
Get in there, get acclimated, start doing the work, show that you are capable and that you are an asset to the business during that 90-day probationary period. If it takes
mhm,
you a year, that 90 days is meaningless at that point, you know?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. You need to have some better systems in place
I talked
to
to
get someone up to speed much more quickly.
yeah, I talked to somebody else who said that the basically the extent of their onboarding for new sales hires was they would allow them to ride around with some of the other salesmen on their route and just kind of see what they do. And that was it.
That's great if the person that you get assigned to is a fantastic salesman and they're following the company policies and all
Yeah.
that wonderful stuff. But if you end up with somebody who is not that great, doesn't follow the company policies, then your educational period is
Yeah.
not going to go that well.
And if the other sales guys see that the new sales guys are going with one of the other salespeople and not them, what does that mean about their sales abilities, right?
Right.
So anyway, it's kind of sending a message there, I think, but maybe unintentional. Okay, so
Yeah.
operationally, in the business, having, um, scorecards, way to kind of, the KPIs we talked about earlier. These are the things that we need to hit, and maybe some underlying reasons why. What information can you give to the employees or the people in the company that's going to make that easier, especially anything in graphical format that they can use would be useful in that case. One thing here too is and this is like something that I wish I would have had as an employee in my last corporate job, a decision framework for the team. That's one thing I struggled with the most, I think, was I know that my boss is tired of me asking questions.
Mm,
You know? But it's
you need a
like
way to
I
empower
have,
your team to make decisions on their own rather than
yeah,
continuing to go with you, to go to you. And yeah,
I I have
if that's the
no
case, you
I have
can
no
never take a day off.
frame. Yeah, I have no way to kind of, you
Mm,
know, if just having like a company created framework.
mm,
This is the decision tree process. I mean, wow, that would be amazing. Um, so anyway,
yeah, that would
or
be pretty amazing.
this is something that we did have in my previous gig, my corporate gig, weekly leadership rhythm. Um, well, I say that we did have it, but it was really more like we had weekly, team meetings where we would get together in the same room, talk about the things we were working on, mainly tried to keep it positive. But um, I leadership rhythm, I'm not sure. Uh, I think that having a regular leadership, a regular like one-on-one with the people that are matter in the company. Everybody matters, but it's like instead of constant barrage of questions, right? If if my boss had said, let's have a weekly time where we get together and you bring all your questions to me and we get them hammered out at that point, that would have I think, gone a long way for him and his sanity. I think, but also for me too, you know, just kind of keep a list of things that throughout the week that came up, and then just kind of get them all taken care of all at once. That would help. That would have helped me a lot, I think, because I was constantly trying, like, finding myself getting up and going asking questions, which would disrupt my entire flow, the things I was working on. But it's like if I don't ask it now, he's going to be gone, and I don't know when he's going to be back, and that kind of thing. So I better get it taken care of right now while I'm thinking about it. So anyway, um, and I think that if you have these systems in place and they're functioning well and they are accomplishing the things that they're supposed to accomplish, you have KPIs that they're driving towards that are built around your goals as a company, then what you have to do is trust in the systems, right? Trust instead of micromanaging. So that's how you break the cycle. Okay. Sound easy, right?
Oh yeah, it sounds so easy. But
Yeah.
it's this whole idea of like um embracing embracing disruption now for a better, for a smoother running tomorrow. Because
Yeah.
now when you're putting the system in place, you're changing things. And we humans, we don't always like change. So um, you know, uh, there may be some delicacy in how you roll it out and how you make the announcement and um how you yeah, implement it with your team. Getting input from them might be a great way to do it. Like, this is what we're proposing. Let me know give us your thoughts and how we can make it even better as we're implementing this and rolling it out across the company. And um but yeah, there's gonna be some hiccups there. But to not do it and just kick the can down the road and say, well, well, it's a lot of work. I don't want to do this right now. You only stunt the company's growth. I've been in
Yeah.
situations where um, I've had managers and bosses who they would rather just do everything the hard way
Hmm.
and not bother with an overhaul of the system just because it was work. And I'm
Hmm.
thinking, but we're at work. Isn't that
Right.
what we're supposed to be doing here?
Yeah.
But
My, um, I offered my consulting services to company recently, And they said, well, it's a big expense for the company, big decision, still thinking about it. Okay. Well, how much time is it taking you to answer these questions, to do all these like extraneous things that you are doing as the CEO of the company? How much is that costing the company for
Mhm.
you to do all that? Think about that, right? How much is it costing the company in time lost getting a new hire up to speed? Okay. There's real costs involved in the things that you're already doing in an inefficient way. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. So,
you know,
spending that or investing that money up front to build out a better system
yeah,
only saves the company in the long run. But yeah, you do have to help them to see where they're actually bleeding money anyway. They're already bleeding money.
yeah. How much are you missing out on? How much is it costing the company by not having a, good sales process in place,
Mhm.
right? Where you're following up with leads, you're
Yeah, or leads
acquiring
are
new
falling through the
customers.
cracks. That could be thousands every month
Oh yeah,
that the company is
um,
losing.
yeah. So it's costing you one way or
Mhm.
another. you know.
It is. It is absolutely.
Um, okay, so here's a little bit of a self-assessment for our viewers out there. This is how you can know if you're the bottleneck, if this applies to you as a business owner. So first off, first question, can your team make decisions without you? If you answer anything other than yes,
Yeah, that's a
um,
bottleneck. Hmm.
yeah, do you trust your numbers and processes?
Uh-huh. Well, that's a good one. When you make your decision based on how you feel in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
I, I don't know why. I think that we should do this. Like
Yeah.
that's what I saw. Company
My
X over here
intuition is
doing.
telling me. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we should be doing this. Just
Yeah. I
just
feel it in
just
my gut.
because. Uh, you know.
What the
Um.
gospel people would say, I feel it in my spirit.
yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Indeed.
but the numbers say something completely different.
hmm Can you take a week off without the business stalling?
Mm. Now
This one.
that's an exercise that Mike Michalowicz talks about in his book Clockwork.
Mm,
It was just such a great book. He talked about doing a challenge, challenging yourself. Set up, book a vacation for yourself in a year to 18 months. Actually book it
mm,
and be for an off the grid vacation. No phone, no emails, no texting, none of that.
mhm.
And can your business survive for you to be gone for a month on a
That's
vacation like that?
great. That's because you're beginning with the end in mind. If you have your goal is to have the business be in such a high functioning state that
Mhm.
all the questions are answered, all the fires are fought without you having to be the one who does those.
Absolutely.
That's a great thing to work towards. That's fantastic. Um, okay, another question. Are you still the bridge between all the departments? Are you the
Mm,
one kind of holding everything together, right? Um, I mean, it's the definition of bottleneck if you think about it. That's
yeah,
all the things have to be routed through the one thing, right? Where they could potentially have a much more efficient path, but it's being forced
but it's
into
still
this.
all on you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I went to a conference where with Lamar Tyler, and he talked about, when you get to a certain point in your business, you want to build not just a team, but a team of teams and have leaders in your company so that those leaders are maintaining their own systems that work together with the other systems in the business. So yeah,
Yeah.
you have something, you have a system set up like that. Oh my goodness, yeah. That month-long vacation in the Amazon jungle where you have no connection, it can be a reality.
Oh, Amazon, that is
Go
that's extreme.
study frogs that nobody else sees anywhere else. If you like that sort of thing. Me, I prefer the beach.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Slightly less stressful.
Yeah.
Have you ever, there's a book called, oh my gosh, it's a book about when President Teddy Roosevelt went to the Black River, which is a branch of the Nile. Not the Nile, but the Amazon, excuse me,
Oh, I
with
didn't know that. No.
with his son, Kermit. It's a great book. Anyway, I'll put the link in the notes. But
Okay, gotta check that out.
um, yeah, they encountered a lot of problems. I'll leave it at that. But okay,
It's an adventurous vacation, to say the least.
yeah. Teddy Roosevelt has never wanted to shy away from such a thing, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the discussion. Let's do a little bit of recap here. Founder-led growth doesn't scale. By definition, if you are the bottleneck, you're preventing efficiency and growth.
And ultimately, what
Uh,
you have is a high powered job rather than
mhm,
rather than a scalable business.
yeah,
Mm.
and all the what you may interpret as people needing you is probably people being very frustrated that they have to ask you for everything. So
Mm,
think about that.
right. And yeah, and your best team members anyway, they're going to want some ownership and some agency,
Hmm.
and empowerment to be able to do to do their best without having to run to you for everything, to make decisions and to put out the fires.
Yeah, and if you truly have um, your your goals figured out, everyone is on the same page, everyone's working towards the same in the same direction. You have clearly explained things for your team. You've given them the ability to make their own decisions. It should be, relatively easy. Like that is something that you can actually sell to somebody if you choose to exit your business later on because it doesn't depend on you, right? If you're the
Right.
one that holds it together, and if you leave, the whole thing falls apart. Nobody's going to want to buy that. Just letting you know. Um, Okay, so having systems, therefore, is better than any kind of heroics. You know,
Yeah, you don't need to
um,
be the hero in every situation. It's
yeah,
okay to have other heroes.
being the architect or the orchestrator is better than of the business. Another way to think about it.
Oh,
So that's it. Do you have anything else for that?
that's all for us today. So we want to remind you about the growth ceiling assessment to see where maybe you're holding your business back. It's a few questions that you can answer very quickly, just so to give you um, just that eye-opening view of what may be happening in your business. And so yeah, we'll drop that link in the description, and we will see you next time. Thanks for being here.